throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out.
What, a hot older woman made you feel her pants?
You don't have the technology or the...
And we are live. Welcome, folks, to the American Movie Podcast. If you've never been here before, do not forget to subscribe. I go through movies, news, reviews, all that jazz. So you don't want to miss out on that. Today, we're going over the one and only Molly's Game. Okay, Molly's Game. And this is based on a true story, folks. So Molly's Game, she's an Olympic class skier, and then she gets injured, okay? And then she just falls straight into this. She gets a job, and then she meets a few people, and then she starts creating this exclusive poker game that is a $50,000 buy-in in Los Angeles. And then it just escalates from there. This is insanity. This is one of my favorite movies of this year so far. It's amazing. I say that in January, but I feel like this is a contender for the year just because it's extraordinary. So, Jessica Chastain is Molly Bloom, and Idris Elba's in here. Michael Cera's in here, who does an extraordinary job too. And I was just talking about Michael Cera in a previous podcast and like how you never see him anymore. But then the son of a bee shows up in Molly's Game. So I love this show. This was what's alluring about it is that it's completely factual. It's based on a book. Molly wrote a book, and then this book got renditioned into a movie, and it's absurd at how crazy this is. Jessica Chastain does an amazing job. Aaron Sorkin, who is the writer-director of this, it's incredible. It's incredible. And Jessica Chastain is not bad to look at either. So she gets in cahoots with celebrities. And there's this one celebrity she refers to as Player X. I did some digging, and the story who the celebrity was in real life is Toby Maguire. And I went to the book a little bit, and I'm going to quote the book here in a second. There's just some crazy stories about Toby Maguire. He seems like a complete jerk, but he's incredible at poker. So within the movie, he's played by Michael Cera, and like I said, he's insane. He's insane in there. He comes off as like this crazy sociopath. And from the likes of the story, allegedly, from Molly's perspective, that's what Toby Maguire was. And so I want to read you a couple quotes that I found inside of, well, it was a quote from the book of Molly's Game. And so this is referencing Toby Maguire. So this is how it plays out in the book. He held a $1,000 chip in his hand. He flipped it over a couple times in his fingers. See, Molly only made money through creating these games through tips. So she relied on tips. So he's flipping a $1,000 chip, and Toby said, "This is yours." He said, holding it out to me. She said, "Thanks, Toby." Reached her hand out. He yanked it back at the last second. He said, "If you do something to earn these $1,000. His voice was loud enough that some of the guys looked up to see what was happening. I laughed, trying not to show my nerves. That's Molly. "What do I want you to do?" he said. The whole table listens. I looked at him. His face was lit up like a Christmas tree. "I know. Get up on that desk and bark like a seal." Bark like a seal who wants a fish, he said. I laughed again, stalling, hoping he would play the joke out by himself and leave. "I'm not kidding. What's wrong? You're too rich now? You won't bark for $1,000? Wow. You must be really rich." This is Molly. My face was burning. The room was silent. "Come on," he said, holding the chip above my head. "Bark." "No," I said quietly. "No?" he asked. "Toby," I said, "I'm not going to bark like a seal. Keep your chip." My whole face was on fire. I knew he would be angry, especially because he had now engaged the whole audience, and I wasn't playing his game. I was embarrassed, but I was also angry. So that's insane. Okay, that's insane that he would be so demeaning and it's just it's a power dynamic. So Toby Maguire is obviously a jerk. And there's a quote inside of the movie that I just found to be super grating and just like, wow, this person's a sociopath. Michael Cera says it, playing Player X, who is, now that we know, Toby Maguire. I just like to destroy lives more than I like to win. So he's not even winning to win their money. He's trying to actually destroy lives in a manner where if they lose this money, it will be detrimental to their downfall. So, like, absurd. Okay, so I don't want to go into too much of it. She just runs this crazy poker game, and it's extraordinary. It's a longer movie, but it is just captivating. So I highly, highly recommend Molly's Game. You should check it out. It's in theaters right now. You could check it out. So thank you so much for listening. If you want to support the podcast, please review us on the iTunes. And if you want to start your own podcast, I created podcast publisher, and it's on www. I can't believe you say, who says www anymore? It's kind of a given. www.socialcreative.org/podcast, and it's pretty much anything you would need to know equipment-wise, setup-wise, on how to actually start your own podcast. So you can do that. And this podcast is also brought to you by Audible. If you go to audibletrial.com/American, you get a free 30 days, and I believe you get a book with it as well. I love Audible. Check it out. So thank you so much. I'll be back with the numerous ones coming up over the post, a few Netflix series. So stay tuned. Thank you so much. Bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye. Until next time. This has been Matthew Benjamin. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
I've been frozen for 30 years, okay? Throw me a frickin' bone here.
Snap out.
What a hot old room made you feel your pants?